Hello YouTube, Aaron here with a new one. Not too sure if you heard me in the last video. I did on my phone miraculously, but it was a little bit quiet. Did kind of rush to set up things and wasn't really aware that the sound was going to be so quiet. So today I thought I'd make a new video. I'm actually doing some crazy things. So I don't know if I put in one of my videos that I built an ISO from Arch Bootstrap, which is around... If we go to Art Bootstrap, I was just getting a command to fix something in the TTY grub. But if we go to Arch and we look at the, so if we go to download, we're going to see, this is where you get the Arch Bootstrap. So the Arch Bootstrap is even bigger, I think. Is it? How big is the Arch Bootstrap? Let's have a look. Oh, it's 100 megabyte now. It's even smaller. Oh, hold up. So if we download that, I've been doing a lot of things. I do need to clear my workspace, which is what I said in the last video. But okay, so the Arch Bootstrap itself, yeah, it seems about right. So there's a guide on how to use the Arch Bootstrap. And if you follow the wiki, I guess you can somehow do what I did. This is what I don't like about Brave. This is the documentation. If we can find... yeah, this is the documentation I used to basically chroot into the Arch Bootstrap and set it up like a system. And I've got an account on there. I set up the sudo and loads of other system administration things that needed to be solved for it to basically boot as an ISO. And so if we go onto my Google Drive, we're going to see the original one that I made. And so I've got a lot of different things on here which I'm going to be transferring over to my new website that I've just built. So I would say just built, but my PHP files were on my other website and I put it on GitHub so I could get to them at a later date. And now I'm using fasthost.co.uk and paying £1 a month for a website, and I've got 250 gigabytes worth of space, which is adequate for what I need, because what I'm doing now, instead of providing loads of different ISOs, I'm just going to be providing one, and this kind of solves this issue here as well. Well, I haven't. I might just provide that on my website, the make ISO version, because the original version was 616 megabytes, and that's basically just Arch TTY grub ISO that you can install, and then you can basically build a distribution and whatever else off of it. It's considerably a lot smaller than the Arch ISO that you would normally get, and it, oh no, and it itself basically works the same really. All you just got to do is install all the different packages, but Arch itself, when you do download it, is 1.5 now. So it's even bigger. No, 1.4. But yeah, basically, I had a theory to try and find the smallest Arch ISO TTY grub, should I say. And Artix actually provide one, but it's very problematic because they've got their own scripts to install the system one way. Although I did fork the Artix ISO creator to make my own, which is what I've been working on the last couple of days. So let's get back to what I was talking about yesterday that you couldn't hear in the video. So I mean, if you look at my GitHub, there's been hundreds of thousands, if not more, commits to different repositories. So I will be focusing on the BTRFS cloner at some point again in the future. But basically, my distribution installer and my Claude Mods ISO creator script, and I've recently added some new stuff such as the Claude Mods sign console script that I was showing in the last video, and that essentially just basically is a script that you can use to change your console theme, and this is what I showed in the last video, but I'm not too sure if anybody could hear me. We got all these different colors. I'm not too sure if anyone's going to really want to change it to anything else other than that. If you do like that, then why not change to it? I actually use it myself, and I'm providing that now in all of my distributions. I won't be providing these custom colors, which is what I guess others would be thinking. But I think maybe the contrast of these colors that I'm going to be showing, so this one here might not be too bad, but I won't be implementing that in any of my distributions. The burgundy one definitely is too bright. The contrast itself, you can't really see anything in the console once you change over to it, and I've had a lot of people in the past complain that the contrast is no good and that it's burning their eyes, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry for that. Burgundy happens to be one of my favourite colours as much as turquoise is, and that's why I put burgundy and turquoise. But they're basically some of the things that I've been creating recently. I've also made a vanilla Arch to CashOS Claude Mod Spitfire, and basically you can download the Arch ISO and run this script and essentially install Spitfire as it is, with the only drawback being, which is in the changelog like I showed in my last video, that I can't get the favorites added to the menu just yet, and also that the custom Brave browser theme and their extensions do not transfer either. But basically everything else essentially works. The theme, all of the packages get installed, the NTFS drive support works, the USBs in Vert Manager work, the desktop photo gets changed over, the Dolphin service menus get added, and the kernel, and basically it changes it into the CashOS Spitfire that it is from Vanilla Arch. I've also made a script for Apex, so that just got updated yesterday because I've been doing so much that I basically copied some of my work into here, into this repository, and it was broken, so I then reverted it back to what it was, and it all works fine now. And we've also got a vanilla Arch to CashOS, which I made many months ago, and I didn't actually intend to get it to this state, but now it's fully working, and we've got all these different options that you can choose from. So you've got the TTY Grub version of what CashOS would be, and essentially I installed all of the different desktops and just got the package list, and I made a custom script that basically installs CashOS over Vanilla Arch. Everything works. You get the Grub, the Plymouth, all of the different packages that they would normally install. It took me a bit of a while on trial and error, but I got there at the end of the day, and it's pretty fun to make, which is why I've moved now onto like a distribution installer. So I will talk about that in a minute. My new Claude Mods website is now up. I've been using FileZilla to upload files, and this is where my new ISO, which I will be uploading in a minute, will be uploaded to. We've got all of these different things open at the moment. My workspace is a lot smaller than it was yesterday, so I've now got 34 GB, even after deleting a few virtual machines. So FastHost, I'll be honest with you, I've been using FastHost now for 2 days, and £1 a month for a website, you can't go wrong. It will go up to something like £7, but that's a lot cheaper than going to Bluehost or GoDaddy and everything else. In fact, I can make 3 websites off of this. I'm not going to go to into the whole deal that I went with, but I basically just went for web hosting, and it cost me £1, I think, or £2, something like that. But essentially, it was £1 or £2, and I uploaded my PHP files, and I obviously updated my repository. So if we come here, we've got some music that I'm not going to play, and basically we've got essentially what I originally had on my old website. Once I coded this, because this is like a 2,000 line document, if you go onto my GitHub you'll see we've got all these different musics that I'm going to have to pause, and some things need to be changed, but essentially everything basically works. And I think it was pretty cool to make. I put many hours into it, and I use DeepSeek. So I use DeepSeek's written all over the website. You can support my work if you wish. Why not? I mean, I could do with a few sponsors. The website's now updated, and I've added some things into it to make it what it should have been, really. Some of the buttons have not been integrated just yet, so there is some work that needs to be done on the website. But if we come back and hopefully move on to the Claude Mods ISO create a script. So I quite recently made an update, and all of the information is here in the releases. There is hundreds of releases. I mean, it's probably about 10 different versions of this, to be fair. But this one here, being the latest, basically focuses on removing dependencies of Qt6 and Qt5, and essentially just basically using GCC whilst keeping my embedded files method, because I have .zips that get compiled into the finishing script, and it basically extracts them at some point or the other. And in the old version with the Qt6, it basically would do that at the start when you run the script. And in this changelog, it gives you some information of what I've done to change that. So I also changed the cloning method from using rsync to now using bind. So basically what happens is it binds the system into the folder that gets created when you select the location, and basically then creates a squashfs. So essentially using the same method pretty much as Penguin's Eggs, although Penguin's Eggs uses an upper, a lower and a work directory. We only use one folder and then just create the squashfs, and that solves probably the best part of 2 minutes of your time. We don't need rsync anymore. I also changed the extraction method, which is what I was just on about, from when the script normally opens to basically being the setup script, and there is some photos for that. So we've got a new option in the setup scripts, and we also got a photo for essentially how it does it now, how it makes the clone, sorry. I also changed the update method, so now it's a prompt, because I just found that it was a bit annoying, to be fair. There is some more work to be done, and over time I will put some more hours and time into it. For now, I'm focusing on my Claude Mods distribution installer, which is what I'm going to be talking about next. And we're going to be doing some work on camera to do with this. So I just made a new clone. There's a download ISO that will be uploaded in this video, and I just want to talk about some of the things that I've done. So Vanilla Arch is fully supported. In fact, I even put the information here. Vanilla Arch is now fully supported, so you can install the different desktops, and it basically uses packstrap commands. And feel free to read the feel free to go through the script and see what's actually being done before you use it. At the end of the day, your safety is my priority, and obviously I've open sourced this for a reason. Feel free to fork it, contribute, check the code, see what's actually happening during the process. I will say that CashOS is not being integrated yet, and it does actually say that, and that's because I need to create the different squashfs files for the CashOS options. I did try to make Vanilla Arch to CashOS through the TTY, but the problem is that the packstrap command doesn't like hundreds of thousands. I'd say about 1,000 different packages depending on what you're installing. The desktops, for instance, are definitely 1,000 packages. So I'm going to be using squashfs files just like Spitfire and Apex, which is what I put a lot of hours into just yesterday to plush up and get it finally working. So Spitfire and Apex now finally works, and what it essentially does is downloads the rootfs file off of my website, which is essentially Apex. And then we just run certain scripts. Where are we? It's called Claude Mods v1.image, and basically that essentially is Apex. That gets downloaded, and then it gets unsquashfs, and depending on whether you pick Apex or you pick Spitfire, it will set up the system the way it needs to be. There's also options to in the configuration of the script, you can change the username, It does ask for a kernel, but if you're installing Spitfire or Apex, it will not install that kernel since everything is basically within the SquashFS file. But it will set up a user. It also changes the time zone, information to do with the system itself, basically. I don't know how else to explain that, but have we got any photos? Well, this is the new ISO, so essentially we'll be uploading this just in a minute. I've done many hours to try and make this what it needs to be. I can't really upload the ISO into GitHub because they've got a limit. But basically, the ISO is going to be around that size. My distributions are now going to be provided within this ISO. So Spitfire minimal, Spitfire minimal dev. I'm going to have the fulls on there. Obviously I've got 250 gigabyte limit, so I'm going to keep it to one SquashFS file per distro. So if I do the dev, it's going to be the dev for Apex and Spitfire, and if I do the full edition, it's going to be the full edition for Apex and Spitfire, and we just use scripts to change them from one to the other like it is. But yeah, let's get to business anyway. I'm going to play some music, and then I'm going to create an ISO with this RootFS.
Hey, you be no drop that.
So we've got 11 minutes upload. I'm just going to move my phone over. A lot of work has been done over the last couple of days, and things are obviously changing now to not being local installers and using the internet. And I just think it's so much easier than building tons and tons of different ISOs all the time and uploading them if I just stick to .images and have scripts that basically set up during the process and whatnot. A lot of trial and error. has obviously been put into these scripts, and there's information and whatnot. If we go onto my GitHub and go to my Claude Mods ISO creator, we'll see that there's a separate website, PHP, just for the wrong bit. Just for some information. It does need to be updated. So we've got the website main page, actually has music as well, so we will be pausing that. Yeah, the music's paused. So we've got some information on here, we've got some links on there, and we've got some buttons. And well, I just think this is pretty cool and handy to have. We've also got the news as part of it, my support me, and some other things. So I made this just for my cloning stuff, and it does need to be updated, so please give me some time. There is a lot of things that I have to hand that I do wish to do, and yeah, I just thought I'd mention and show that. Also, the website, like I said, is open source, so if you do wish to have a look at the code, why not? The code is on my GitHub. Like I said, it's 2,000 lines long, the main part of it, with all the different tabs and music. So you'll probably have a great time trying to fork that. So the index.php is 2,007 lines. There is more to add, and some things don't actually work with it, like I tried to make like a PWA and some other things, I guess. The music itself, the method works. I don't know if you know, but browsers are not actually meant to play music automatically, but somehow find a way to do that. Well, what I'm going to do now is basically download this rootfs, create an ISO, shove it on my website, and yeah, then I'm just going to update the GitHub repository, and that'll be it for today's video. Whilst that's uploading, I can show something else. So that's just been uploaded, right? Okay. That rootfs could be down into the videos. A lot of trial and error. So that's going to take a few seconds to download. We need to go into here and just delete this. Okay. Let me know when that's downloaded. Okay. So that is the file, and we're going to copy that and put that into ISO, give the ISO a test just before we upload it. I don't need to do any edits with this. I'm not too sure if I'm using the latest ISO creator or the old, but pretty sure. Oh, okay, I'm using the new one. Pretty handy. So just download the Claude mods. I think I'll delete that just in case. I don't want to make. So it's the same, because the boot artwork is essentially the same as what I was providing. Oh. Give it a quick test, shove it online. We're in the downloads, aren't we? How big is it? Oh, it's only 600 megabytes. Not bad at all, people. Not bad. Smaller than the Arch install script. And I did want to use that artwork, but for now, we'll just use the one that's being provided. There's some updates to the KD system. I've been using the KD dev now for many months, and I've had no issues with it. This is not the script. This is not it. So if we log in, I don't know what's going on here. So obviously downloaded the wrong version. Or something or the other. This is what it looks like. We did download it into the right place, right? That's been downloaded into videos, and we went into music, right? Okay, so that is the wrong root FS. So if we copy this, trial and error. I've been at it for days. Please give me a break. So go to downloads, just delete that. Create a new ISO. This one, hopefully it just works. Looking good to me. Looks the same. I mean, we did just copy it quite relatively quickly, to be fair. But if we go to Arch Auto, we can check for updates. There's going to be no updates. If we come here and we cancel this script, we can also do is it Rsync Auto? It does say at the top there. So Rsync Auto basically allows you to install the system as it is, and then you can install all your packages. Just bear in mind that there is files in the op directory. So if we come here, there is the 2 files needed to run these different scripts. So they look healthy, the system looks healthy, it's quite small and it looks like it's working. So I'm going to give it an update and upload. The .image itself is online, so if any errors occur, I guess we can re-upload it, but I'm going to put this on my website now, and once it's uploaded I will then update the GitHub. I want to talk about the Pling 11 menu. I recently added the 11 menu back into my distributions. Someone had forked the 11 menu. If we go to his Pling, where are we? Is it menu 11? How many different menu 11s have we got? One here, but that's my one. We got his one. We got one other, and so we got my old 11 menu. We got his 11 menu. We got menu 11. If you go onto his menu 11, you're gonna see that it's been forked from 1Z menu, which is the original version of menu 11 that everyone else decided to fork. So credits to ADHE, should I say, for creating this, because you've had all these funny buggers basically fork it, including myself, and turning it into their own way, and it essentially all looks the same. They all look the same. So he's obviously, it's called the 1Z menu. If you actually type it in, I'm pretty sure that you can find it. He might even have his GitHub, his Pling. So this is the menu itself. It's called the 1Z menu 11 for Plasma 5, which he then integrated as Plasma 6. So there is a Plasma 6 version somewhere. on the Plink store. But if we go here, menu 11 menu 11 next is made by someone else. It's essentially the same thing. They all look the same, they all work the same, no different. Then we got menu 11 enhanced, which was basically the same. It's all the same, but this one here works with Plasma 6 and above. He actually updated the README after I forked this project. Let's see how many downloads he's had, bless him, 160. Obviously my 11 menu was for Plasma 5, and I do need to update that, so I might do that in this video. But essentially I forked it and I removed the recent documents, and then for some reason I've now made a completely new one, which I think we should explain to people to get them to download it. So my menu 11, it's not called menu 11, but it's called 11 menu advanced. It's essentially exactly the same, but has been forked from his project to work with Plasma 6.6 and above, because I use Plasma 6 dev, for those that don't know, just to test the packages, and there is some things that need to be fixed within my distributions. I mean, it does work. Basically, just want to update the old one here. Menu Sol will not work from Plasma 6.5 and above. New version made by me. And we put that on there, and hopefully we get some downloads, and we'll see how much we've made for this month. I actually made a few things just the other day, like the CashOS Advances, a new Plymouth that I made, and it's included in all of my distributions. The menu 11 Advanced, how many downloads? 72, not too far off of how many he had. The one that I forked. Let's see how much I've made this month before checking FileZilla, because it should be done by now. But basically we've got all of these buggers that have forked here, including myself, and I think it's pretty funny. So this month I've made $5. Not bad, not bad. I'm not going without. I could do with some sponsors, to be fair, but this is all for fun. So 40 seconds left, why not play some music, eh?
Hey, you be gonna drop that.
I'm always looking for new things to fork and make better, and this is one of them, one of the first ever things I thought, why not make it better? We don't need recent documents, we just need to use the applications we're going to use on a day-to-day basis. Okay. GitHub repository, here we go. It's 821 megabytes now. It's just a little bit bigger. think that will be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, whatever time it is when you're watching this video. I hope you're having a good day or night, whatever time it is where you are as well. And it's a bye from me, Aaron or Claude Mods.